Warm welcome to all of you, all members of VRSI, members of AOS, and especially winners of the VRSI Imaging Contest to this felicitation ceremony. It's a pleasure to welcome all of you. And I think President VRSI, Shobhit Chawla sir is also here with us. A warm welcome to Raja Narayanan sir, Honorary General Secretary VRSI, Anand Rajendran sir, Convener Scientific Committee, Manoj Khatri sir, member of the Executive Committee, and Mr. Rahul from Novartis, who are the sponsors for the felicitation and the awards. So without further ado, I'll hand over the proceedings to our General Secretary, Dr. Raj Narayanan sir, and he will be felicitating the winners.
So I would like to now invite first up Dr. Neha. Is she there?
Yes, sir.
Second runner-up, if you would like to call. So can you just briefly show your presentation and image, and then Dr. Shobhit Chawla will be presenting you the certificate and the cash award, remotely, electronically. Yeah.
So actually, I don't have a presentation, but I have the image.
Okay.
I can just show them. I'll just talk about it. Yeah. Is my screen visible?
No, it's not visible.
Not yet.
Yeah, now it's visible. Yeah.
Yeah. So this was a case which we diagnosed as asymmetric delayed presentation of VKH disease, in which a 27-year-old female presented to us with decreased vision in left eye and headache since 1 month. Her best corrected visual acuity was 6.6 in the right eye and hand movements in the left eye. On examination, the bilateral anterior segment was normal. Right eye fundus was also within normal limits, whereas the left eye fundus showed multiple pockets of subretinal fluid, which with an exudative RD-like picture. So although a uveitic workup was advised, the patient was lost to follow-up, and she presented to us after 6 months with now decreased vision in the right eye, which was 6.9, and left was finger counting 1.5 meter. On exam, the right eye fundus showed choroidal folds with a few pockets of SRF, whereas the left eye fundus showed a depigmented fundus kind of picture with subretinal scarring, suggestive of a sunset glow fundus. So she was advised right eye B-scan, which showed choroidal thickening. Right eye OCTs were suggestive of multiple NSDs. And the FFE was also advised, in which there was disc staining and few hyperfluorescent dots in the right eye with RP atrophic changes in the left eye. So we came to a working diagnosis of asymmetric presentation of probable VKH syndrome, with the right eye being in active stage and left eye in the resolved stage with no extraocular manifestations. So the patient was started on intravenous methylprednisolone 3 doses, followed by gradual tapering of oral steroids starting by 1 milligram per kg for around 12 weeks. She was also referred to a rheumatologist to be started on immunosuppressants. So her final visual acuity was restored to 6.6 parts in the right eye, and left eye her BCVA was finger counting 3 meters. So we came to a conclusion that unilateral posterior uveitis at presentation should not rule out the possibility of VKH.
Good, thank you so much. So we are not having any question answer because this is just a prize winning competition.
Yeah.
But congratulations once again. So Madan, are we
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. Are we having any certificate? And Dr. Shobhit can technically present it to you. And we also have a cash prize of 1,000 rupees for you. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Neha. It's a nice case and quite a presentation and very well documented. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite Dr. Devashish Dubey to present his image. He is the runner-up.
Thank you, sir. Good evening to everybody. I'll just share my screen now. I'd like to request Dr. Neha to stop sharing. Yeah.
If I could request Dr. Devashish to give a small introduction about himself, also Dr. Neha after that, so that viewers know you a little better.
Yeah, Dr. Devashish, you can go ahead and then we will ask Dr. Neha.
Yeah.
I think his connectivity.
Yeah, there's some
His connectivity is lost.
1 second.
Maybe by that time, Dr. Neha can introduce herself.
Yeah, Dr. Neha, can you
Okay.
introduce yourself?
Yes, sir. So I'm Dr. Neha Khatib. I've done my DOMS ophthalmology from KB Haji Bachwali Hospital, and I'm currently doing my fellowship in retinal fellowship in Bachwali Hospital as well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Welcome.
Now, are you able to see my screen, sir?
Yes, we
Yes,
can
we
see
are.
your screen, but not the image though. I mean, you just have to project
able to
the
see
image,
the-
that's all. Yeah.
1 second, sir.
We are seeing only the folders. So once you open, then stop sharing and start sharing again. Yeah, now we can see it.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Devashish Dubey. I've recently completed my fellowship from Shankar Eye Hospital, Bangalore, and under the mentorship of Dr. Mahesh Shanmugam, sir. Right now, I've joined as a registrar in Shankara Hospital in Anand. First, should I go ahead with my talk, sir? Like the small
Yeah,
introduction
just
to
briefly
the-
present your image. Yeah.
So firstly, I would like to take this opportunity to thank VRSI for selecting the image. This image is actually of a patient who was being treated by Dr. Mahesh Shanmugam, sir. And I would like to extend my gratitude to him. Now, as we can see in the image, it is the image of a fluorescein angiography of a peripapillary choroidal melanoma. And we have aptly given it the name as the dark web because of the striking vascularity that it has. As we know that choroidal melanoma is the most common intraocular malignancy in the world, but it's in raise like the population.
Your voice
The
breaking.
peripapillary.
If you,
My voice is breaking.
yeah, I don't know if it is for the others. I don't know, maybe whether it's my connectivity.
Yeah, it is intermittently breaking, but we are hearing you
It is
better.
breaking intermittently.
Okay. What I was saying is, as we can see in the image, it's a peripapillary melanoma, and peripapillary melanomas it's not the usual location for a melanoma to occur. In literature, it is more commonly said that it appears in the temporal or the superior quadrant. Now, melanomas usually they are dome shaped or have a mushroom configuration depending on whether the Brooks is ruptured or not. But as in the image, the peripapillary melanomas have a peculiar property of having a mushroom shape even without rupturing the Brooks membrane. That is because they tend to grow around the posterior aspect of the Brooks. Now, most of us as students had read about the double circulation seen in choroidal melanomas, which basically is the combination of the intratumoral vascularity as seen in the image along with the overlying retinal vessels. But though all of us know about it, it's very rare for us to find one, because for the vasculature to stand out, it's usually in a moderate to a large sized tumor, because in smaller tumors, the vascularity is not that distinct. And in very large tumors, it is very difficult to photograph them. And also they are mostly associated with complications such as exudative RD or subretinal hemorrhage, which obscures the underlying vasculature. Also, in pigmented races, the melanoma itself is densely pigmented, so it again masks the underlying vasculature. In conclusion, as we can see in our image, it's a combination of all the favorable factors like the size, the location, vascularity, as well as the lack of pigmentation. So it has been captured so beautifully. The double circulation, as we see, has been captured very beautifully. And in the end, I would like to thank VRSI again for the appreciation of the image. Thank you so much.
Excellent image, Devashi. Very nice
Beautiful
image.
Very nice, very nice.
Very nice. I now request Dr. Shobhit Chawla to hand over the certificate. And
Can you just stop your screen share, Dr. Devash?
Sure.
Yeah.
Do that.
And you will also get a cash award of 1,500 rupees.
Thank you.
Congratulations to you, Dr. Devashish. Please keep contributing to such interesting cases and unusual cases. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, the winner, I invite Dr. Deepak Bhojwani to present his case.
Thank you very much, sir, for the warm welcome. Can I share my screen, sir?
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
Am I visible and audible also?
Yes. Yes.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, it's visible now.
Yeah. So I just want to. So is it visible? Can I go ahead?
Yes.
Yeah. So first of all, I would like to thank the VRSI, Vitreoretinal Society of India, for honoring us. All the members of VRSI who have voted this image and doing the honors, all the attendees of the meeting, and also Novartis for sponsoring this event. So this was my winning image, the Wyburn-Masson syndrome. So I'll just briefly introduce the image. So this was an 18-year-old boy who presented to me in 2016. He came with gradual diminution of vision, a whooshing sound in his head, and headache in left eye only, unilateral presentation. On fundus examination, which is very striking, which I'll come later, which showed a very large arteriovenous malformations, which you can see obviously on the fundus photograph, and multifocal imaging is very more prominent. I'll just come to it. So this is a striking picture. Here you can see arteriovenous malformations. The artery is straight away communicating into the venous system. The capillary system is not present. That's the striking point, arteriovenous malformations. And the location is very specific, exactly damn center on the posterior pole. I cannot identify the macula. So when you do a multimodal imaging with a fluorescent angiography, these are very high pressure arterial malformation. So even in early stage, this was 12-second image, you can see the arterial phase, choroidal flush is also not seen. You can already see the dye being communicating in the arterial pool and then going on in the venous loop. And these are all centered on the posterior pole. And the OCT also shows the macula for foveal architecture is disturbed because of presence of these vessels. And more importantly, the most important thing is to recognize whenever you see these malformations, always do a systemic workup, especially the CNS abnormalities, to make sure the patient is aware also not only of the eye abnormalities, also the systemic abnormalities which he might harbor. A little bit of general knowledge about Wyburn-Masson syndrome. It's a rare phacomatous. So as of literature, as of now, today I searched on PubMed, less than 100 cases have been reported till now. So as compared to other phacomatoses, Wyburn-Masson is a non-hereditary, congenital, mostly uniform racemose angiomatosis. The commonest complication reported with this Wyburn-Masson syndrome is retinal venous occlusion, and the other complications associated with it can be retinal hemorrhage or optic atrophy. It is usually associated with neurological arteriovenous malformations, commonly seen in the midbrain lesion. This patient also had arteriovenous malformations on MRI scans, which were visible in the midbrain area. Majority of them throughout their life are unstable. So usually we treat only when we see complications like a retinal hemorrhage or an occlusion. This is just an overall view. And at the end, I would like to thank again the VRSI Society and the Novartis for honoring this image. Thank you very much.
Yeah, wonderful image, Dr. Deepak. This was probably unanimous among everyone in terms of the image, I would say. A very rare image which everyone appreciated. I now request our president again, Dr. Shobhit Chawla, to felicitate you. Can we have the certificate?
Congratulations, Dr. Deepak, for joining.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
And congratulations on the excellent presentation.
Thank you very much.
A cash award of 2,000 rupees also, thanks to Novartis for this.
Thank you, Novartis, sir.
I would again like to thank all the participants and also Madan Gopal and also Manoj Khatri for driving this, and Novartis especially for coming forward without any hesitation to sponsor the cash award. So if you can spread this word also and tell your friends and colleagues to submit in the future, we are also opening up video presentations, also any unique interesting videos. Those will also be started by voting. The good thing about this is we don't decide the winner, it's the members of the VRSA who decide the winner by a voting process. So keep it up and congratulations to all of you. Anand, do you have anything, any concluding remarks to say?
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to thank all the participants for having sent in their images like Raja mentioned. I'd like to congratulate the winners. A fabulous image from Dr. Deepak, Dr. Devashish, Dr. Neha. And, you know, I'd also like to say that we've published this image as a cover page for the previous VRSI newsletter. So thank you, Dr. Deepak, for providing this also. And,
Thank you very much, sir.
as Raja said, I'd like to welcome everybody to submit these kind of interesting images for our contests in the future too. And of course, I'd like to congratulate Madan, Dr. Manoj Khatri, Raja for taking the initiative and bringing this forward, taking it forward, and Novartis for supporting us. Thank you.
Can we have the one final photo shoot gallery view and a screenshot so that we have good memories of this?
Yeah, very good idea, sir.
That's what I was trying to do, sir.
So someone has to stop presentation or
I will do that, sir.
yeah, there we go. I think everyone can switch on their video. It's not necessary for only the winners probably. We'll also know the participants. Okay, done, Madan?
Not yet, sir. 1 second. Done, sir. Done.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you all.
Dr. Shobhit, thank you, Anand. Thank you, all the participants. See you again.
Thank you, everyone. Keep doing the
Thank
good
you,
work.
everyone.
All the best. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.